What is the difference between a social entrepreneur and a social enterprise? A social entrepreneur is someone who is solving a social problem, and they can be doing that anyway. It doesn't need to be necessarily a business. A social entrepreneur could come up with any kind of innovative solution, and they might come up with some kind of social venture, but it may be a funded venture, it may require funding, it may not necessarily be a business. Social entrepreneurs may start social enterprises, but they may start something else. And it's very much more about the individual, whereas the social enterprise is actually the business.
A social entrepreneur is someone who works in an entrepreneurial manner. So they've got the drive, they've got the idea, but they use that drive and use that idea for a social benefit. They're often driven by social justice issues or environmental issues, and they aim to address the unmet needs to improve people's lives. A social enterprise, on the other hand, is a business with primarily social objectives, and the surpluses from that business are reinvested in the business or in the community, rather than being driven by the need to maximise profit to shareholders or owners.
Whether it's creating employment and setting up a business that actually is aimed at creating employment to a community that might struggle otherwise to get employment, or whether it's solving some other kind of problem.
There's a spectrum though of social enterprise. It's sort of social enterprise sits in the middle, often between this tension between mainstream commercial business and community welfare organisations. So yes, on the surface we look like a normal business, but if you dig deep, or not that deep actually, if you scratch the surface, you'll find that they're very different in form when compared with mainstream commercial businesses or the charitable sector. So they look like a business, but they act like a charity in many cases. So we do sit very much in the middle, and often it's hard for people to wrap their head around. But this diagram really does explain it well in terms of the spectrum that we sit on. We've got at one end traditional not-for-profits, we've got corporations practicing social responsibility, then you've got a socially responsible business, which just might be a small business in a community which gives to the local school or the local hockey club or the like. You've got social enterprise in the middle, and then you've got your not-for-profits down the other end of the scale. The different motivations for each of those entities is what really separates them from each other. So it's good to get an idea of the difference between all of them. In terms of benefits of social enterprise, essentially the biggest benefit is the inclusivity aspect in terms of the job creation for people from all backgrounds, ages, sectors and communities, and just the general diversity of the population that often get involved in social enterprise. We have people from refugee backgrounds, asylum seekers, right through to long-term unemployed people who have experienced entrenched poverty for generations. The other benefits are transforming beneficiaries into active citizens leading social change. So it gives people a sense of empowerment that they can actually provide a solution to their own problems and be an active part of that. We empower those who best understand the problem to create the solution. So that's going back to actually having that lived experience of a particular problem and creating some positive change through a business enterprise. We strengthen community assets, environments and economies. We catalyse community involvement, engagement and responsibility. And we create jobs as a pathway for disadvantaged job seekers who have had an enterprising idea that may also lead to sustainable employment for others. So it's really a wonderful space to be in terms of how dynamic it is with its inclusion and social benefit.